Hello, you're welcome back to the class. Now I'm gonna introduce to you Gransky's official handle on Vimeo. Vimeo. I hope you've heard of Vimeo. If you've not heard of Vimeo, download the app, sign up, have a Vimeo account. It is also a video stream, a video stream site just like YouTube. So you can also follow Granskeys at official Granskeys on Vimeo. So get an account and follow Granskeys. Let's go on to the class immediately. Okay, in our tutorial we are going to be talking about medication and vaccination notes. Medication and vaccination notes. So let's talk about medications. Most poultry diseases can be prevented and treated by the use of drugs and vaccines. Viral diseases are better prevented by vaccination. Antibiotics are effective in the treatment of certain diseases such as coccidiosis, salmonellosis, fowl cholera, infectious coxa, and chronic respiratory diseases, which is CRD. You might be hearing CRD. It means chronic respiratory diseases. Worms are controlled by dewormers. Worms are controlled by dewormers. Lice and mites are effectively controlled with flea and louse powder. So you can control lice and mites with louse powder. So you can go to any vet shop, ask them for louse powder, and they will also show you and they'll give you the direction to use it. So there are also various brands of multivitamins, drugs, and anti-stress which can supply added vitamins to prevent the flock from most diseases. Always reach out to a vet doctor for recommendations of quality medicines. Okay, always reach out to a vet doctor for recommendations of quality medicines. Let's talk on vaccination. Vaccination in birds is the process by which the immune system of a healthy bird is aroused against a particular disease condition. Now, you see this, we say the immune system of a healthy bird, not the immune system of a sick bird. No, the immune system of a healthy bird is being aroused, meaning you are gingering the immune system of the bird so that the immune will be able to stand against a particular disease condition. Let's assume now that you are vaccinating for Newcastle. That means you vaccinated a healthy bird and the bird's immune system will be stronger against Newcastle disease. Okay, so the body is challenged to defend itself against a weakened agent of a disease entity, which is introduced into the body by injection or orally. At such at such at such a level, the body is aroused to produce protective substances called antibodies. So when you actually give them this vaccination, either through injection or by oral, that's oral means either by adding to their water for them to drink. It arouses the immune system of these birds, and then the birds will now produce protective substances. That is, they will now produce protective antibody against this disease. That's against this Newcastle disease. That's if you are vaccinating for the sake of Newcastle, against Newcastle. So they will develop an antibody against Newcastle. The aim is that these antibodies being made sensitive to that particular disease should always rise to protect the body. The aim is that these antibodies being made sensitive to that particular disease, that's, I was using Newcastle as a particular disease. Now, the antibody should always rise to protect the body against a lethal form of disease should it occur in the future. So this is actually a preventive measure you are actually taking by vaccinating these birds against Newcastle or against Gumboro or whichever one. So vaccination is one of the major tools in the prevention of devastating diseases in poultry. Vaccination is one of the major tools in the prevention of devastating diseases in poultry. There are viral vaccines, bacterial vaccines, and protozoan vaccines, depending on what you are using for. Vaccination notes. Vaccination must be recommended by experts, so don't just on your own decide to give. It should be decided by experts. Also follow your vaccination program, then you also know when you're supposed. Then a vet doctor or an expert will tell you, okay, this is uh, this is the kind of vaccine you are gonna use. This one has been outdated. You can now use this if there's any new one. So vaccine must be administered by professionals unless you have the required idea, which is what you are also getting in this class. All vaccines must be administered according to manufacturer's prescription. So different manufacturer with their different prescriptions. So whichever one you're buying, make sure you ask of the prescription and how to use it. So the reason is because the one I'm using in my area may not be the same you are using in your area. It might not be the same in your location. So you ask for the one that is available there and how to use it, because there are so many manufacturers. Vaccination is best done during morning or evening hours. Sick birds must not be vaccinated. Just as we said before, you actually vaccinate healthy birds to help them arouse their immune system and to generate an antibody. So sick birds, if you vaccinate sick birds, they will die more. Okay. Introduce vitamin to feed or water a day before the day of vaccination. A day before the day of vaccination. So if you are to give them vaccination tomorrow, just give them a multivitamin medication in water today. So tomorrow you vaccinate. After the exercise and the next day, So before you you vaccinate, if you are vaccinating tomorrow, you give them vitamin today and you vaccinate tomorrow. And after vaccination, you also give them uh, a multivitamin, and also the next day you also give them multivitamin. So all this you are also going to see them in the vaccination program. That is in the course of this tutorial. So for water vaccination, withdraw water from the bed for at least 2 hours before the exercise. That means if you want to give them this vaccination, if it is not injection, you are giving them through water. What you do is you restrict water from them. Don't allow them drink water for at least 2 hours. Then you mix the vaccination with the water, with their water, with the quantity of water that is being prescribed. Then you add the vaccination and you give to them. Okay, so give them before the exercise. That is, withdraw the water 2 hours before the exercise, before you give them the vaccination. And when supplying water, provide enough drinkers so that every bird can access and drink the treated water and be immunized within the allotted time. Avoid use of medications and antibiotics for about 3 days prior to vaccination. So if you are going to vaccinate them in 3 days time, don't give them antibiotics, okay? Don't give them strong antibiotics prior to vaccination so as not to interfere with immune response. So the antibiotics will not interfere with the immune response, okay? So for Gumboro vaccination, pay close attention to the environmental temperatures during 2 to 7 weeks of bird age. So avoid vaccination during periods of high temperature as heat may cause vaccine failure. So if you are actually giving your birds Gumboro from the first 2 to 7 weeks, if you are giving them Gumboro, make sure the environment is not high, the temperature is not high. If the temperature is high, the Gumboro will fail as well. So that means you have to give them another one because that one has failed. For vaccines administered through feed, give vaccine applied feed when they are really hungry. So that means you can also restrict feed from them and then add the vaccination in their feed and then give them and they will eat very well. For water vaccination, apply vaccine to the specific quantity of water as prescribed by a vet, depending on the quantity of birds available. So if you have 100 birds, you tell them I need 100 dose vaccine. If you have 500, you say I need 500 dose vaccine. If you have 50 birds, they will give you 100 dose and then you go and share it in the recommended water, the recommended quantity of water, and then you share it into two. Then you throw away the remaining one at a very far place, not close to the poultry, so that it doesn't fly through air to overdose them. So you actually share it into two. And if you have 1,000 birds, they give you 1,000 dose vaccine. So avoid any stressful operations before or before, on, or immediately after vaccination. So Anything like stress, like transferring beds, like moving the beds up and down, don't do it before before giving them vaccination. Even in the process of giving them, don't move them, don't stress them up. After the vaccination also, don't stress them so that they will not feel weak and start dropping. But in case unavoidable stress occurs, follow up immediately with anti-stress medicaments So you can also get your anti-stress by the corner so that if in case anything stress comes up, you just put it in water and give to them. So allow a 2 weeks withdrawal from all medications before birds are sold for consumption. So make sure if you are selling for consumption, make sure you withdraw anything medication 2 weeks before you sell off the birds. So that is it for medication and vaccination notes. Thank you very much. I hope you understand really good in this tutorial. See you in the next video. Bye.